High Velocity Wrestling is a professional wrestling promotion based in Western North Carolina. HVW's events provide a family atmosphere featuring old school pro wrestling with a modern day flair, giving a little something for everyone. Hey, what is up? Welcome to the HVW Podcast, the official podcast for High Velocity Wrestling. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and we're here to give you the latest HVW news, exclusive interviews, and some fun pro wrestling conversation. Remember to follow us on all of our social media, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The links are available in the episode's description. What's up, kids? Welcome back. HVW, live and in full effect, as really only we can do at the moment. But by God, we're still here. We're still kicking. We're still moving forward. Always forward, always. I'm Tom Clark, Director of Social Media for the aforementioned HVW. Also the host of Tom Clark's Main Event and Tom Clark's 6M Podcast, all of which are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the YouTube. You can't miss it. And if you do, shame on you, because, man, are you missing a good time. Hope you're having a great week so far. We're only 3 days in. But guess what? We're still here. We're still doing our thing. Happy Tuesday night to you one and all. Tonight is a very special episode because yesterday marked the 1-year anniversary of Show 'em. There we go. Of HVW Resurrected. Everybody, please welcome HVW owner and promoter, Mr. Gary Benfield. What's up, Gary?
Guys?
How you doing?
What's up, everybody? How you doing tonight, Tom?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Man, I'm excited. I'm ready to talk about some HVW. I'm ready to do some HVW, but hey, this is what we got for now, right?
Well, we take what we can get, brother.
Absolutely.
That's the truth. Unfortunately, we take what we can get. So this is Resurrected Revisited. Yesterday snuck up on me. I'm not gonna lie, dude. It's terrible to say, but I got into Sunday night and I started getting memories popping up on Facebook, and I'm like, "Oh my God, tomorrow's the 25th!" Like,
I know, I couldn't believe it. It was so quick; it creeped up on me too. I was like, "Damn, we did a show a year ago."
I know, right? Blew my mind, dude. Nathan Sumner has joined us already. What's up, Nate? How you doing, man? We've got a few people watching already. If any of you good people are watching on Tom Clark's Facebook page, then I cannot see your comments. I've tried to find ways around this. I cannot find it. So if I can't respond to you because I can't see you, flip over to the HVW Facebook page. That's how we do. And brother, I'll talk to you. I'll respond. Gary will respond. We'll wish you what's up and Happy New Year and all that crap. So, yes. Let's go ahead and get into this. We've got a handful of people here. For those of you that don't know, High Velocity Wrestling existed in its previous form for how many years, Gary?
For 12. 12
years, a dozen years, man. Accomplished a lot of good, put out a lot of great content, trained a lot of great talents who are still working, who have excelled beyond probably your wildest dreams. I mean, give the folks out there a brief snapshot of what we're talking about in those dozen years, if you can sum it up.
Hey, brother, it's there ain't many promoters can say they ran a show every Saturday night for 12 years. And other than Chief J. Eagle down at APW, he's the only one I know that's done it that long. But brother, the names that came through our ranks over the years, I mean, from legends to future stars to current stars. I mean, it's really awesome to see. We knew him as Stephen the Fever Walters. And, now he's part of FTR on AEW every Wednesday night. We've had John Schuyler's been on WWE TV several times. James Drake's done some stuff. I mean, Crucifix has done some stuff. I've done some stuff. I mean, it's so many names. I mean, we've had Matt Hardy. We've had Jeff Hardy. We've had both the Koloffs, Ivan and Nikita. We've had Greg the Hammer Valentine. We've had, oh man, I mean, Shannon Moore, the Prince of Punk himself. Just, man, so many good vibes, so many good years, so many good memories, Tom.
And, I'd come up and worked for you just a handful of times, not as often as I wanted to. But, the trek for me was always an arduous one. It's an hour and a half or better from here. So it's, it's quite a haul. But whenever I could come up, it was an honor to do so. It was awesome to do. And I got to interview Matt when he was up there for a Bleacher Report. That was pretty cool. And, people can think whatever they want. I don't really care because I shoot from the hip and I always have. And that's not one of those, I tell it like it is. I hate people that do that crap. Trust me. So I don't want to come off like that guy. But I have no reason to blow smoke up your skirt when I say this. Every time I was in the HVW locker room, I never had a bad experience. Everybody made me feel welcome. Guys who I'd never met before. And Gary, you know how this works. You enter the door, you shake everyone's hand in the locker room. You look them in the eye, tell them your name, say, how you doing, man? And so everyone's going to be polite in that regard. But I would have guys come up to me in between matches and just, hey, man, how's it going? And how long have you known Gary? That kind of thing. And just make small talk. So I was always made to feel welcome, dude. And I always appreciated that about your locker room.
Hey, brother, I appreciate that, man. You family, Tom. I mean, that's the bottom line. You family. And my family was always respected, man. My locker room always respected my family. And that they were my family too. For years, that was my family.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, like I said, it was always a good experience. And the word family is very important here because the relaunch of HVW had a lot to do with family. Things, if I talk about it too much, I'll get upset. But fast forward a year later and we are moving forward as we have always done. We've got some people joining the chat. We want to start acknowledging some folks here. John Matthews, what's up, my friend?
What's up, young brother?
Barrett,
that's the future of HVW.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
What's up, Barrett? Barrett's been a fan since day one, Tom. Awesome. Dude, I can remember Barrett sitting in the shack beside Wendy's.
Oh, that's big time.
Watching HVW.
Yeah, that's old school, man. I remember I got one of the best compliments in that building that night, and I couldn't tell you who told me. But one of your guys came up after we got back through the curtain and shook my hand and said, brother, that was awesome. He said, you remind me of an evil Paul Heyman. And I'm like, that was the nicest thing anybody ever said to me in the locker room at that point. I was so humbled by that. And I said, dude, that means so much to me. Thank you for that. All I did was just do my manager shtick. It was nothing big. But I just remember that meaning a lot to me when he said that. Ryan, what's up, my friend?
What's up, Ryan?
Ringsiders is joining us. Ringsiders is a constant presence on the hashtag Truth podcast. So good on you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Shannon, longtime viewer, longtime fan of Tom Clark's Main Event. What's up, Shannon? Shannon, don't you worry about nothing. I got some serious sound bites coming your way Friday. Gary's previewed them. So Gary got a sneak peek. Ryan says the future for HVW is bright, ready for it to be back. Brother, you said a mouthful.
Absolutely. Hey, dude, I see Larry Bell up there. Who else I see? What's up, Crystal Jackson?
Oh, yeah, I didn't mean to skip past her.
No, you fine, man. What's up, lady? Hey, Larry Bell, dude. You remember Larry, don't you? He's the fellow we always brought in the wheelchair with cerebral palsy.
Yes.
Would get real excited all the time. Larry's been a long time HVW fan.
Cool.
I love that Joker to death.
Gary Shannon saying hello. Shannon can testify to the fact that we do talk about HVW quite a bit on the Main Event. We've referenced the company several times. So,
brother, I watch as much as I can on Fridays while I'm working. I'll have my phone set up on my workbench. If I can stay right there while I'm working, I get to watch. But if I'm moving around, I don't get to watch it. I can hear you, but I don't get to watch.
I understand. John says, hope my knee is good for the next HVW show. I messed it up pretty bad Sunday. Take care of yourself, John.
Young brother, you know how it is. You got to let it heal.
Yep. Stay off of it if you can. All right, folks, since we've got a little handful of you watching, we're going to get straight to the point of this. I would love to have done this last night, but as I said, the 25th kind of creeped up on me this year, and I was not prepared for this. So we're prepared tonight. We're going to talk all about the year that was, or the night that was, I should say, in the year 2020, January 25th, the return of High Velocity Wrestling. And we're going to kick this thing off. Before I get to the video, let's hit rewind. And you and I have talked about this for a lot of time, and we've covered it on several different podcasts. We've talked about it online. We talked about it with friends. We talked about it live chat, that kind of thing. Basically, kids, it all boils down to the fact that in the fall of 2019, Gary and I, who we kind of kept touch over the past several years, but nothing insanely, full time. He had his own life to lead. So did I. We would occasionally say hello. How's it going? How's the family? Right. And in the fall of 2019, you hit me up. And I've told this story for 2 years now. Seems like that you said, what's your schedule looking like this week? You got time to talk? I want to call you. And as soon as I took the message, I told my wife, and the first thing she said was, he's talking about HVW, right? And I said, well, I figure. And she goes, well, is he serious this time? Because you'd reached out a couple of different times over the years and said, I got the itch. I want to do it. And then I never heard from you again. So let's take the people back to the fall of 2019 if we can, as quick as we can here, because we got a lot of show to get to. And I've asked you this before, man, but let's remind everyone, what sparked it for you to contact me and to get the ball rolling?
Brother, I'd been invited to come out to a couple shows, man, and it's I got asked to come work Dylan Dollar at a show, and I wanted to do it. So I went, I found a ring to go train in for a couple times because I hadn't been in the ring in several years. And that's where I met John Matthews. I actually worked out with John that day. And instead of me training, I kind of went into teacher mode. And dude, I don't know. When me and Dylan left and I was driving back up the mountain, all I could think about was my school. Teaching the guys back in the day and all the good times we had. And that's what I really started thinking about first, was just training, just getting my school back up. But then I went to that show, wrestled Dylan, and considering I hadn't been in the ring in almost 4 years, and, there was probably 100 people in that building, and they were chanting, "You still got it. You still got it." And I don't know, dude, it kind of lit the fire. And of course, I didn't get the support that I wanted to get from the people that should have gave it to me. But I did it anyway. I decided to do it, and I reached out to you. And, dude, if I was going to do it this time, you was going to be by my side. So, it's you and Terry Hudson. And, luckily we met Nathan Workman, and Nathan's came on board with us too. And, the future's bright, brother. I can't wait to see what happens.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more about everything you just said, especially about Terry and, of course, about Nathan. Nathan has become a great friend. He was there for my family during a very a crisis, and he's been a friend ever since. And I was going to use the words that he's an invaluable asset, but that makes him sound like a thing instead of a person, and that's weird to say, right? But Nathan's just a good man. I mean, that's bottom line. He's a good person.
He is, dude. He's helped me. He's gave me some advice through the situation that I'm in now. So, Nathan's a great guy.
Yes, he is, and
we're lucky to have him.
Absolutely, and he's a big part of HVW that probably a lot of you folks don't even know about. Nate, he's been kind of our secret weapon, but we've gave him a name now. Now we're mentioning him by name, because in the past we never even mentioned him by name. We just said that we have staff behind the scenes, and we do, but he's a very important part of that staff.
Yes, he is.
Larry, thank you much for that. Larry says, I love HVW. Kelly, what's up? Thanks for watching tonight. I appreciate that. So, yes, you contacted me, and lo and behold, you contacted me again. And then I said, well, God, this is going to get real quick. And we started making plans. You and I started having contact, and you're cueing me in on who you're going to use, who we're going to book, and some of the talents I kind of was familiar with, others I wasn't. And the card came together pretty fast because, you know, you're going to plan a show for January. You can't go into December not knowing what you're doing. So
exactly.
I would say by, what do you think it was? October, we already had the card written and everything was ready to roll, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I pretty much had the card booked by before Halloween. Because I mean, we released the poster Thanksgiving Day.
Yes, Black Friday.
Yeah, on Black Friday. Yeah, so you know we had to have it done before then.
Black Friday, we took our social media live that day.
Right. Yeah.
And I think I was up at 5 a.m. that morning. And I think I went full throttle pretty much up until 7 or 8 o'clock that night. Just, yeah, because we had teased the life out of it. And if you're going to do something, you do it right the first time. You know what I mean? So go hard or go home, as they say.
That's right. Look, you see my daughter's busted my chops, right?
I see that. Kaylee, I know I don't know you too well, but you need to know that your dad loves you to pieces. And no, he didn't ask me to say that. It's just the truth. He talks about you constantly. And Aaron, if you show up, brother, he talks about you a lot too. Please don't misunderstand me on that. That's the truth. Crystal said you need a hat.
I know, baby.
The trademark Viper do-rag is not in full effect tonight. So I think it was probably 2 or 3 months before I even saw you without that do-rag in UWA, unless it just fell off during a match.
Oh, I know.
Or the headband, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was 100 years ago, it seems like, man.
But I had hair back then, though.
That's true. You had rock star hair. It was long hair, boy.
Yes, sir.
You were the hairiest of the bunch. And EOD was a bunch of burly, hairy dudes, but you were the hairiest of the bunch of us, that's for sure. So.
Yes, sir. Lots of fun back then, brother.
Oh my God, we still got to do a UWA podcast.
I got to.
That. I want to do that. We got to get Roger on board if he's willing to do it. So, yeah. So things started progressing. We started getting people on board, getting people involved. You already had the venue lined up, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Full disclosure: the first time you said to me, "It's a church," I thought, "What?" And like I didn't know what to think. And then you sent me pictures, and I said, interesting. I'm intrigued. And then you sent me pictures of the inside of the building. I said, okay, now I'm very intrigued because, man, that's a lot of room. And, you know, I can't say enough good things about Trinity of Fairview, man. We call it the HVW Arena. What a great facility and great freaking people behind the scenes. If anybody were to watch this from the church, kudos to you guys because you made a brother feel welcome. You made all of us feel very welcome. The ring crew, the wrestlers, the fans, it was the best night ever, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Pastor Stacy and Associate Pastor Adam was hanging out with us Friday night while we were building the set, putting the stage up and everything. And, you know, they were like kids in a candy store in there, you know. So it was really awesome. And that, you know, Pastor Stacy believes in what we do. So that's important.
I was very struck by how much fun he was having just watching the thing come together.
Oh, he's a huge wrestling fan.
You're right. He was like a kid. He's like, man, look at this. This is going to be awesome. He just kept talking about it.
I know. So, he's a great guy, dude.
He was pumped up for sure. So, yeah, we, again, the months go on, and then we start getting promos. And kids, if you've not taken 2 minutes out of your day to go watch some promos on the road to Resurrected, you are not doing life correctly because I'm telling you right now, some of the best pro wrestling promos you're going to find on any level exist on our YouTube channel right now as we speak. The first one we got was from NAV, New Age Villains. And I'm smiling because it was freaking awesome. It was the one outside with the barrel that they had a fire in it, right?
Yeah. Great stuff.
Great. Yes. Talk about that. The first time you opened that, what was your reaction?
You know, how professional was this? These guys are doing their thing. And it was awesome. I mean, it was and I started hoping, I hope they all come in like this. And then they were, you know, dude, even for 12 years doing a show every Saturday night, we wasn't cutting promos like that. and it was really cool. I mean, it was really neat. I enjoyed it.
And apart from all the crazy Ivan M. Righteous stuff, which is a whole other pod.
Oh, please don't. He'll get on here, man. Watch out.
I'm sure. I cannot say enough good things about NAV. Again, for the first promo that we got was from those guys. That to me set the tone. I said, okay, new to HVW, new tag team to HVW, the future. Man, they embodied exactly what our thesis was from the very beginning when we said we want to be familiar, yet we want to be fresh. That's what we wanted for HVW. We want to be, something that looked like you could recognize it, but something you'd never seen before. And that's NAV to me. They're old school and their approach, but man, they've got youth, they've got energy, they've got heart, charisma, and yeah, they've got passion for this, man. I think that all that together is a great combination.
And it, like you said, dude, it's just the face of our company, what we want it to be. Fresh, with a touch of the past, I guess. So a blast from the past for the future. How's that?
Sure. Yeah, that works.
Yeah,
that works.
Yeah. So
we've got Josh Cash checking in, said it was a fun and great show. Tell the good people out there who Josh is.
The greatest ref on the indie scene, and HVW head referee. Proud to have you, brother.
He is, and Josh will know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. I liked him anyway. I was knocked out, impressed during the match with TJ Boston 6 at First Strike. Because of Josh, and Josh will know exactly what I'm talking about. His interactions with Six stole the show for me. I sat back saying, I like this guy a lot. Like you'd have to know what I'm talking about, but you go back and watch him during that match. Great stuff, man.
Yep,
for sure.
Mitch Hurley's in the house.
Mitch, what's up, man?
The California Dreaming.
California Dream. Mitch, you're welcome. I gave you that. Don't tell the man I gave him that because I did.
don't let him lie.
I gave him that. As sure as this cup says the Beatles, I gave him that name. I said because you got the American Dream, you got the Velveteen Dream, which we won't talk about Velveteen Dream, but then you got American Dream. That's even better. And then you got California. He's surfer guy, dude. The California Dream. He's the California Dream.
Yeah.
So there you go. And I didn't even ask for $1 for that.
Yeah.
Not even $1. So
hey, that's another future HVW star.
Mitch can buy me a cup of coffee one of these days. There you go. That's all I'll ask for, a cup of coffee. That'll work for me. So yeah, man. Listen, Mitch is here. We may as well talk about the man. And we're gonna get to the matches, but the first time I saw the first promo vid from Mitch, I honest to God couldn't appreciate how big the guy was until I met him. And I said, this is a big boy right here. Like I didn't know. I really didn't have any idea. And let me go back for a second. You and I saw him at a show, which is how we got him for HVW.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
That me and you went and checked out. I believe it was ACCW, wasn't it?
It wasn't Washington. Yeah, Hid Night. That's what it was.
Hid Night, yeah. And Mitch was there, and I said, "Dude, I got to hit him up." And we caught him coming out, leaving the show. And
yeah,
it was cool, man. He was super nice, very professional.
Mitch, I'm going to tell you what sold us, brother. And listen, it's no joke. We're watching the show, and no disrespect to anyone else. Please don't take it that way. You and I were scouting. It is what it is, okay? Mitch's music hits, and Mitch came in over the top rope and rolled into the ring after he came in. And I remember I nudged you and said, that's good. I like that because he's such a big guy to have that. Just that one simple move, I think, kind of made you wake up a little bit too and said, okay, let's see what he can do. And, man, it was –
He wrestled John Matthews that night.
I think, yeah, you're right, man.
Yeah,
I totally
he did.
forgot about that.
I was just about to say it, and John popped it up and said it.
There you go, man.
Yeah. So
Mitch was cool to work with. We didn't have one person that wasn't cool to work with. For anybody watching or listening right now, I'm telling you right now, whatever. I don't really care. We don't worry about critics. Critics don't enter into my airspace because I keep positivity, not negativity. And I think Mitch can probably agree with that. he and I have sort of the same mindset when it comes to that stuff. If I can be that pretentious and say that for him, I don't worry about negativity. But this is the truth. Nobody that you and I ever dealt with behind that curtain in HVW, everybody was golden. They were cool. They wanted to be there. They were having fun. Anything we asked, it happened, dude. Everybody was on their game, man, for sure.
Dude, you know me, and me and you together, we talked about this and we decided that, you know, we might be on the indie level, but we are professional wrestling. And I will never call high velocity wrestling indie wrestling, because that's not what it is in my eyes. We are professional wrestling, and we booked a professional locker room. And, you know, that we treated them like professionals, and they conducted themselves like professionals.
Absolutely right.
I made a lot of mistakes over the years, man. You know, I used to let this internet thing drive me crazy, and I would get online and just talk shit to people, and, you know, kept the storm going. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just kept it stirred up all the time. And I promised myself I wasn't going to let that happen this time. And you know, I promised myself that when the guys that were a part of HVW returned this time, they were going to see a new Gary, a new way that we did business. They were going to see it was going to be a new experience for them. And I think every one of them would say it was.
Yeah, I don't think we had anything negative coming out of either show that we ran. I don't. And honestly, if we had, I would have been surprised, because I think we handled everything, especially the way you organized everything and brought everybody together and had all of us sort of on the same task, on the same page. I couldn't have asked for any better experience. Sugar Shane Odom in the house. He's a regular fan of the main event.
What up, Shane?
To me, the heart of pro wrestling is the small promotions in the gyms. I've had more fun at small shows than going to see a major promotion. I agree with that. I had the most fun, and I've said this before, and I'll stick to it. Had I not been a part of HVW when Resurrected happened, I would have bought a ticket. That's how much I enjoyed that show.
Yeah, I mean, brother, it was hey, it was a lot of firsts that night. There was a lot of firsts, you know, considering we were an existing federation for 12 to 14 years at this point.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of firsts for us that night, Tom.
That's true. That's very true. Man, I have nothing but good memories. There's nothing bad about it. I have good memories.
Dude, the only sad I have is that we didn't get to continue the rest of the year. We had so many plans, dude.
Yeah.
Overdrive would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all right.
And we've said this before, but it bears repeating. We had content and we had plans getting us through to December of 2020. We had already, and by the time Resurrected was over, you and I were on the phone on message with the next 2-3 days. We were already talking about February, and then March. I had named all the events, and we had sort of went back and forth on where do we move this and where do we put this. And we had stuff in our heads of what to write and where to write it. And man, it was, yeah. So
brother, I had the cards booked all the way through April.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had the cards. We had our storylines, our shows, everything was this COVID crap, man. It's just,
I know. And, you know, there's other promotions out there. PWX has fired back up, and we have nothing but love and respect for PWX.
Brian was a huge part. I mean, I sat down and talked with Brian a couple times before I relaunched HVW and got a lot of advice from him, man, and I really appreciated him for that. And he drove to me. You know, he took the time to come to me. I didn't have to go to Brian.
He's good people, and I can't even say that I've even shook the man's hand. I don't think I have, but me and my son have been to some of the PWX shows, and it was always good production. It was always a good crowd, always great matches. I mean, They know how to put on a show, kids, and we completely vouch and endorse PWX, and that's the truth. So continue success for them. Let's see. Before we go any farther, I want to get to the night because I want to talk about the matches because that's what we're here for. Before we kick it off, we're going to now play. And if you're only listening to the audio version of this podcast, man, are you missing out because you're going to miss the cool vid here. This is the video that launched us the night of Resurrected. It's what we played. It was our show opener. It's also the show opener for the actual show of Resurrected. It's available on our YouTube channel. We're going to host a launch party for that coming Thursday night. We got to figure out how to do it. Details to come, kids. So just hang on for that. In the meantime, if you've not seen it, now's your chance. Tell us what you think in the comments, especially for you main event folks who couldn't come to the show because, you don't live in the state. And maybe you watched it after the fact. Tell us what you think about this video. Let's go ahead and roll that. There we go. I let the song finish.
Yeah.
You don't interrupt a good song. Let the thing play. I got there that Friday. I think me and Wesley got in there that Friday. I forget what time. It was right before lunchtime, I think, when he and I got there. Mm-hmm. And you guys were busy working, and I think we helped. You may have got the majority of it already done. But I think I'd gotten the laptop and was putting some stuff together. And I'm trying to remember if we have the music up and the video up Friday, or was it Saturday when we had it up?
No, we played it. We played it Friday night.
That's what it was. And I was just jamming out to the songs. Like I was just having fun. When the music was turned up and I got to play a little bit on the mic and stuff, that's when it started feeling real to me. Getting in the building and seeing the ring and the stage and hearing the speakers, man, that's what brought it home for me, dude.
Hey, I hear you, brother. Hey, tell the great HVW fans that's never been there what they watched that video. How was that video displayed that night?
Oh man, you're gonna kill me, but I've forgotten the inch of the TV. So we've got the HVW. I don't know. We call it the Garytron. How about that? We'll just call it the Garytron. In fact, I think that's what Ring of Honor calls their screen. No, that's the Carry because it's Carry Silken. Well, we'll just rip it off. We'll call it the Garytron. How about the Vipertron? That works. Yeah. So what's the inch of that thing again? Because I can never remember.
86.
86. That's right.
Yeah.
I still to this day have never seen one bigger or even seen an 86 in any store, anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Best Buy has them.
Really?
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Seeing that big behemoth up there.
Yeah, and that video playing, I mean, it's cool, man. The whole set looks awesome.
Nate Dogg is in the house, kids. What's up, Nate? He says it wasn't the size of the TV that was impressive. It was the weight of the rigging. Absolutely. And we got one man to thank for that, and you're looking at him. Gary, dude, you put this thing together and built this thing where it would actually hold that monstrosity. And wow, I mean,
Hey,
I
brother,
continue to be impressed by that.
I couldn't have did it without my brother David Pridmore, man. The HVW fans know him as Cyanide. You know, me and that Joker we built that ring together. You know, David helped me build that set, but, you know, me and him's the one that come up with the idea of that stand to hold that TV. And that it's awesome. I love it.
Now, be honest, the first time you lifted that thing in the air, were you sweating a little bit?
Absolutely, I was. That's a $3,000 TV.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you know, we're lifting that thing. What, 25 feet in the air, 18 feet in the air? I mean, it's absolutely. I was scared.
Now, listen, if this is pro wrestling talk, it was 30 feet in the air. If we're just gonna sell it for it is,
yeah. That thing was 50 feet
and weighed 600 pounds. So there you go. Let's just be real about it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and get to the night. I want to go through the matches one by one, and I want to get your take on it. We can discuss a little bit here and there. So we kicked off the night with a fatal four-way. And folks, if you don't know, we're going to tell you. You want to kick off especially your return event. You want to kick it off in grand fashion. And in my opinion, do you want two super heavyweights? You know, and I love me some super heavyweights, folks. Don't misunderstand. Or do you want some, you know, maybe some not so super heavyweights who can? It's just imagine it as a you're going to go see a band or like you want to see the opening act. If you go see a comic, you want to get warmed up first. You see the comics before the comic you paid to really see. Warm the crowd up. That's what the opening match in a pro wrestling show does. And we had it with this. Thomas Extreme, John Matthews, Kid Holiday, and the great Alexander Moss. Dude, talk about this match.
Brother, I tell you, you know, it's I'd never seen TGA work before. And as far as John Matthews, I mean, I had seen John work. I'd worked him at a show before we did our show. Thomas Extreme that Joker was wrestling when I started training, and he was a kid. I mean, he was 15, you know, if that. So, you know, and Kid Holiday, you know, I've seen him around for a while, so I knew we was going to blow the roof off of that building from the get-go. And everybody that followed that show followed that match was going to have to step it up a little bit. But I tell you, I was really grateful James Drake turned me on to TGA because I'm honored to have him and his wife a part of High Velocity Wrestling.
Yeah, he. And this is no disrespect to the other three cats in SmackDown.
No, absolutely not.
And I know John's hanging out with us, but I, like you, had never seen Moss work. And then when I saw him, I was like, okay, wow. So, yeah, and I feel like we've got more than one talent in this company who I would call special. But he's one of them. And, just the way he moves in the ring, the way he carries himself behind the scenes. Yeah. A gentleman's gentleman, a professional, kids. I mean, I like – the word professional fits with TGA. There's no doubt about it. It set the tone, don't you think? I mean, we kicked off the show in grand fashion.
Oh, absolutely, man. I was so proud of everybody, man. I really was. And, you know, I was I'll tell you the truth, man. I wanted John Matthews to shine so much that night because I had talked to that kid about working on bigger shows, doing bigger stuff than what he had been doing, because he's got the talent. The kid's got the talent. And to see him go out and compete with those guys, it was awesome. He did a great job.
Yeah, he did not look, and he could have come off looking nervous and out of place and behind, and he didn't to me. It felt like he fit right in, like he had always kind of been there, and that I can't give much more of a compliment than that. We both have history with Extreme. We both go way back with that kid. I mean,
absolutely.
Thomas does one thing when you book him on a card. Thomas does one thing. He shows up. And
absolutely,
that's what
he does.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean, well, he's here. Thomas is here. No. He shows up. He came out before his freaking music hit because he was.
Yeah.
I'm on commentary and I'm like, did his music hit or no? Like
that Joker was fired up and he was ready to go. And I tell you, man, whoever follows him on any show he's on, not just HVW, but any show, whoever has to follow Thomas, yeah, they better be on their game. That's all I can say.
He is the Jerry Lee Lewis of HVW. Follow that, killer. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah.
That's the truth. Nothing but good things to say about him. I had never met Kid Holiday before, but dude, I was immediately struck by his personality. And you listen, this is no disrespect to him. If you take a look at a picture of this kid, you might think charisma. Okay, sure. Get him in front of an audience and you'll see charisma. Dude, was he, am I wrong? He was just dialed in, wasn't he?
Yeah, and that's another one of those kids I met just going to that show to support Dylan Dollar and watch Dylan. I met him in the locker room there and just was really impressed with the way he carried himself and watched his match that night. And I thought, hey, I like what this kid's got to offer, and then so when I start thinking about the future of HVW and these young guys that I want to bring in, his name was right there along with John Matthews.
John says, hey, brother, he's definitely a gifted worker. He's one of the most professional people I've ever worked. I don't know who you're talking about, but you could probably say
he's talking about TGA.
Oh, there you go. Cool. Shane says more times than not, the undercard is better than the main event. I've been a part of shows where the undercard is much better than the main event. Absolutely. We didn't have to worry about that on this show because I think every match outdid the one before it.
That's the way it should be, and every guy, and I know a lot of shows don't have the ability to have a monitor in the locker room or whatever. But if there is a monitor, man, watch the match before yours.
Yeah.
And don't go if they do a suplex in the first match, don't go out there and do a suplex in your match. Watch what's happening. Don't go out there and put on the same match. Pay attention to what's happening.
Yeah. And we don't always pull the curtain way back here, kids, but when I say the word false finish, I think everybody kind of knows what I'm talking about. Let's just be honest. It's 2021, folks. But you and I both have watched stuff on TV and been to shows in person where there's like 3 in the same night. And you're like, it's like, or it's a screw job at the end. It's a disqualification. You're like, dude, that's 3 matches in a row. Yeah. What am I watching?
Finish the same way. The same finish on 3 matches. Yeah.
I agree. Let's move on to match number 2 here, folks. Southside Films versus Stony Hooker and Tommy Too Much. Now, I'm getting fuzzy on a year later. Who was Hooker supposed to have teamed with again?
Drew McElrath.
How come I didn't remember that name?
I don't know, brother, but that was Stoney's original partner, and unfortunately, Drew couldn't make it that night. And in this match, I only knew Stoney. There again, James Drake recommended Southside as a great tag team to come in. Mm-hmm. And then when Drew backed out, Stoney knew Tommy and just brought him with him. And it worked out, dude. I mean, that it was great. They had a phenomenal match.
And I really, you're right about Hooker and Too Much. I thought they meshed really well together. Southside Films was unique and different. And like I go back to Holiday and Extreme, 2 guys who were completely in the zone. They were into what they were doing. They work really well together. You can tell that they complement each other very well. I mean, I got a lot of kind of a New Day flavor from them / Street Profits vibe. And I don't say that for obvious reasons, folks. I'm talking about the way they cooperated with each other, the things they did, the Showtime aspect of their tag team, which I appreciate. I thought they looked really good. And
I did too, man. I was impressed.
I also wore a couple of different hats that night. I got to be photographer backstage. And so when time came to take their picks, hit the switch. Like we put them in front of the green screen. It was like, all right, whenever you guys are ready, hit the switch. I mean, they just instantly had the way they looked at the camera, the way they smiled. I'm like, okay, this is great. Like I'm smiling at them from behind my phone. I don't know if they got it, But I'm just thinking in my head, I'm thinking, don't say anything weird, but I want to say, you guys, this is great. Like, you know what I mean? You can kind of feel when something comes through the screen, man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was just, it was all right there. It was just the vibe was amazing. You know, even their promos, the way they shot their promos, like they were actually doing a film type thing.
Yes. Yes. That they sent us that, and I opened it up and I'm like, okay, did they send the wrong thing? And then all of a sudden I saw them. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like you could tell they just took their time with it. They wanted to be professional and look right. And like you said before, man, you said this a bunch. I know you can tell who takes this stuff seriously and who's just kind of there. And they take this very seriously.
Oh yeah, you can. I mean, watch anything they do. I mean, whether it's for us or any other fan they're working for, it's just, you know, they're focused on their character, their gimmick, and that's what they should be doing. They're selling their gimmick.
Yeah, 100%.
I see you, Crystal Jackson. Hey, baby.
Oh, there we go. Oh, Nate says the slow motion running the roast was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie to you, that is usually not my cup of tea, but. You know what matters more than anything else? In that moment, not what I think, and Gary, all due respect, maybe not even what you think, did the crowd like it? And
absolutely.
The crowd ate it up.
They did. They did. And they done it at the perfect time of the match, too. I mean, it was exactly when it should have happened.
100%, man. Let's go to the match that I know you couldn't wait to get to. This. And again, I say the words all due respect because we don't want to slight anybody that works for that we hopefully will come back for HVW when we get started back up again or who worked for us in the past. This was a match in terms of number of promos, quality of promos, production of promos, the animosity between the two people going in. You honest to God felt like this was going to be a knockdown drag out, and that's exactly what they gave us. The first ever women's match in HVW history. I was watching clips of the show. I think I watched about half the show back the other night. And Wesley was in here, my son, folks. And I said, son, come here. Because at the time, I did not realize that she had popped Sadie in the face with that cookie platter.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even see it. From my perspective, Sadie's back was to me, so I never saw it happen. But I'm like, oh, my God. The playback is awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got caught up reading Shane's comment about you. Yeah. Hey, dude, that whole thing, I was so proud for that to be the first ever ladies match in high velocity wrestling. I was proud to have that match. And Hayden Ramsey, Sadie Lee Moss, we want you. You are the future of the women division in high velocity wrestling.
Yes, absolutely.
Along with Caitlin Marie and some others that I've been looking at. So, you know, we're gonna build a heck of a ladies division when we return. I promise you that.
Oh my God, so many plans. You people have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
Don't know.
God. They brought it. And I was gonna talk about the chops, but Nathan beat me to it. Watching the crowd reactions to the chops at the end of that match is a riot. When they were on the outside and Hayden was going after her, and Sadie grabbed that pole, and I think on commentary I said she's liable to bring the ring down with her just to get back at Hayden. Like, man, such good stuff, dude. You could just – and look, not for nothing, kids. You think you know how this stuff works, do you? You watch some documentaries, you listen to some podcasts. When these two got behind the curtain that night, I'm going to tell you something right now. There was at least 30 feet between them. And that's the truth. And I remember I got in your ear that night, Gary, and I was like, are they okay to be back here at the same time? And you're like, just keep your eye on them because we don't need anything breaking out back here because we thought they were going to throw down behind the curtain, dude. I've never seen anything like that before.
If you remember, I had David Pridmore come behind the wall and sit back there I
remember.
So they didn't get at each other.
Yeah, because they couldn't wait to get out there. I mean, there's a time for the showtime, and there's everybody tries to be professional. Even the folks that maybe don't like the fans too very much, they're paid to be professional. Let's cut to the chase. If you're paid to be professional, which means we don't expect stuff behind the curtain. We want it out there where the fans can see it. They paid to see the show. They need to see it. But I, honest to God, I thought there was going to be some punches thrown that night, man. But
yeah.
When they got in that ring, Sadie came out. Hayden was already in the ring. Sadie just ran in and started business up, man.
Hey, and for the people that don't know, Sadie's whole character is, everybody's favorite mom. Sadie, the whole housewife mother thing. And brother, she let it all hang out that night. That's for sure.
Oh my God. Let me tell you something, man. I'm so glad that she took a liking to us and she was very polite and friendly, because I have a feeling, and maybe TJ can tell you this, I don't want to be on her bad side, because it doesn't look good. I'm telling you.
No.
So I'll steer clear of that if I can.
Yeah.
And Hayden Ramsey, I can't. Listen, folks, we're gushing over our roster, but I'm sorry. I feel it's well deserved. I can't say enough good things about Hayden. Hayden really turned the corner after First Strike. She was hard to talk to, hard to approach. She did the podcast with me, and she's come around. She's talking more than she ever has. And, that's another story for another time, but, that night she was all business and they couldn't wait to get at each other. I mean, it was crazy. Shane says I think he meant every mom's got that switch. Mine's got it too. And plus she had a switch as well. So double entendre. Anybody get that joke? I'm in the South. She had a switch when I got in trouble as a kid. Is no one going to give me some love on that? Come on, man. And the worst part is Mom made me go get the switch when I got in trouble.
I was just about to ask you if she made you go out there and get it yourself.
And you better be sure you bring back a tree limb, not a weed, because, buddy, she'll make you go get another one. You know what I mean? So that's the truth. That's the truth. Let's see. Sugar Shane says that's one thing I remember about watching the show. Tom in every match commentating. Got color. Dude, Shane, thank you for that, man. I didn't click on your comment because you put me over. I just thought it was nice of you to say. So thank you for that. Anything I can bring to the show to help in any way I can is my goal. That's the only reason I'm there, is to have fun and to watch a great show, which I did both things that night. Let's move to the two teams who embody the tag team division of High Velocity Wrestling, 1776 and NAV. Now we've already gushed a little bit over NAV. Tell me about your history with 1776.
Well, man, I've known Darren Remington since he was knee high to a grasshopper. I mean, I've known his dad since I was a teenager. God rest his soul, Daniels went on to be with the Lord since this show. But Daniel was at this show, and he was battling throat cancer. So many years went by. Daniel and I didn't have any contact because I had left Catawba County where I grew up. And I guess his boys was wanting to get into the wrestling business, William and Daniel. William and Darren. And so he brought them up to HVW one Saturday, and he actually brought them up the day that I was building the torture chamber, the barbed wire cage that me and Superlaw did. And so their first impression was me lacing this barbed wire through this cage, so I started training them, and they wrestled for me for a couple of years as the Young Guns. The Salvation Army sold the property, and we left that property and went to traveling. And the Young Guns they were working other shows and stuff. And then, when we stopped, I don't think William wrestles much anymore. And then Darren found Nick Nitro, his partner, and they formed 1776. And I enjoy those guys a lot.
Yeah, I think them along with NAV they're the heart of the tag team division, much in the same way that Sadie and Hayden are the heart of the women's division in this company. I mean, it's and this was another, if I'm being honest, this was another match in which we had to keep all participants away from each other. But it was not because of this had nothing to do with rage like Hayden had towards Sadie and Sadie had toward Hayden. This wasn't rage. This was calculated precision. NAV are like professional assassins. I don't know how else to say it. 1776 wear their heart on their sleeves. They're more fiery. I don't want to say quick to anger because that sounds like a negative thing, but they'll fight you. Nick Nitro has no problem. Don't square. If you square up with those boys, you're going to be sorry you did. And NAV, they more than just bide their time. They're cold and calculating, and they were ready, but we didn't know how ready they were. And Nathan just had to bring this up.
I seen it. Seen it.
He says we're just going to skip over the fire promo that for Bayern. Listen, we've already talked about this righteous thing to death, but at the end of the night, he had become their manager. To my knowledge, he'd already put in for to become a manager in HVW. We signed off on it. You signed to put your name on the paper for him to work in the company. And NAV signed agreement with him after the show that night. Is what I was told after the fact. So he's represented them ever since.
Yeah, because they're all over the place now. So
yeah, I mean, he's taken places. I can't listen. If someone deserves credit, I will give them credit. As much as I'm sure there's a conspiracy controversy. But I said the word conspiracy. Did you hear that, kids? I must have done something terrible, and that's proof that I'm of the Illuminati. I guess I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, man, this match was. There was one moment in this match when Remington and Nitro say 1-7, and the crowd finishes with 7-6, and so they did it, and then the crowd said 7-6, and you hear one kid who's saying it after the fact. He's kind of trailing off after the fact, and everybody starts clapping and laughing. I'm like, that's one of the coolest moments of that match is you can hear these kids getting into this, man. Yeah, it's on the playback. You guys have to hear it.
Dude, when the kids are having a good time, it's awesome.
That's all that matters. Nathan says Illuminati confirmed. See that? See? That's what I get for mentioning it.
Yeah, see?
I
thought he was part of the team.
Well, he is. But, not for nothing, but Nathan Workman's also known as Logan Lockhart. There's a thing about split personalities here, folks. Gary can attest to that. I can attest to that. I don't have a split personality anymore, but I did years ago. So, yeah, dude, when you put on that hat and you become that person when you get through that curtain, do you think you can just press a button and not be that person when you get back through the curtain? It doesn't work that way.
No, it don't, man. It's I've tried to explain that to, talking to Crystal and telling her you don't know what it's like. Every day I have to go to work and live a normal life and be Gary Benfield. Mm-hmm. For that little bit of time, man, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whenever. Right before when I unzip my bag and put my boots on, I become Viper, and I don't have to worry about Gary Benfield anymore for a little bit, and just being able to let go of that real life and live that fantasy for a little bit, man. Everybody should experience something like that in their life,
for sure.
Take a chance on something that you've wanted to do, and experience it. It'll change your life.
I agree with that 100%. And I've told you this before. Back when we were running with EOD, I was told from people around me at the civilian job that every Saturday I was the biggest jerk to be around. And listen, it wasn't like, I got to do this thing. No, I don't know. I guess mentally I was prepping for Saturday night. And until someone told me, I was like, am I really? I was like, oh, yeah, dude, you're horrible to be around on Saturdays. And I'm like, that makes sense. Because Saturday night you get to cut loose and just, which is what I couldn't wait. My small part of it, which was minuscule compared to what you boys were doing in the ring every Saturday night. I mean, my small part of it was liberating, getting to go out there and just, like you said, become someone else. I didn't have to be Tom anymore. I could just be Bishop. And I haven't said that name in forever. You have. It just hit me. I haven't said the name Bishop in forever. Anyway, that was 100 years ago. So let's see. Let's get to the next match. We've already talked to one of the guys involved. Crucifix, the Greek Wolverine versus the California Dream, Mitch Hurley. Man, this was it looks like a mismatch because of Crucifix's height compared to Mitch. But Chris is a wily veteran, and, man, he proved that on this night.
They don't call that Joker the Wolverine for nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, that Joker, Chris, I trained Chris. He was one of my first students. He's a beast in the ring, man. He's so talented, and unfortunately, he runs on the wrong side most of the time. Yeah. Feels like somebody owes him something. Always got a chip on his shoulder, but you can't deny his ability in the ring or on the microphone. And that's another match that had some hellacious build-up with their promos.
I continue to gush, especially for Chris, because it's well-deserved. Chris, every time he sent us something, either you hit me or I hit you first and said, dude, have you freaking watched this? Like, God, talk about caring about your art. That's Crucifix, man.
Well, it's just learning. It's living your gimmick, your character, bringing it to life. It's more than just stepping inside the ropes and wrestling. Who is Crucifix? Every time he cuts a promo, who the Greek Wolverine is. Yep. And that's the way it should be with the same. When I cut a promo, you knew who Viper was. You knew that was a Viper promo, and it's James Drake's the same way. Drake's got a very unique style when he cuts his promos, and it sets him apart from everybody.
And we're going to get to Drake here in a few minutes, folks. This Chris had set the table, and didn't really have a problem with Mitch. I think in commentary, I even said that in another life, these two probably could have been friends because they had a lot of the same mindset. Mitch, yes, he's laid back, and no, he's not on the edge. He's not, in your face like Crucifix is. He's not intense like Chris is. But Mitch wants to be the best, just like Crucifix does. And Mitch hits hard in the ring like Crucifix does. And it's, he like I said, he's got dreams of being something big. And, Crucifix has the same mindset. So I think in another life, they probably could have been friends. But, man, on this night, they were at each other. Crucifix, like you said, has constantly trying to prove something to himself, to everybody around him. I wish that Crucifix could take a step back and hear people when they say, man, you're really good. Like, you're beyond good. You're one of the best, maybe the best in the company. I don't know if he even hears that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's Chris had natural talent. When he just picked up on everything really quick. And he's always been a true professional.
Absolutely.
Nathan's at it again.
Dude, do you remember this? Because he's right. Speaking of Chris, he warned you about getting a disease from the crowd, and boom, 6 weeks later, COVID outbreak. Prophetic. He's right. He's totally right. He was on the mic that night and said
it's
something.
Crucifix's fault. We got the COVID. Yeah, come on. Nathan Workman, really? Are you hanging out with Ivan M. Righteous?
Don't ask him that. He'll tell you. Don't ask him. We're going to show Larry some love here. He says, do you remember when I got the Troops of Doom? Now, I don't know about Troops of Doom. Who is that?
Look, Larry's going to have to refresh my memory. Look, this Joker can remember stuff that I don't even remember. So
that's a long-time fan right there.
The Troops of Doom. Who was that?
While you're thinking on it, we got Josh that said Mitch trains hard. Brother, you can tell by looking at him. He
works out with Lodi.
Yeah.
He works out at Lodi's school.
Lodi is still phenomenal shape. Look at that.
Oh, guy. I know. It's unreal. I'm so jealous. Hey, but speaking of, last year when we did this show, when I stepped up in the ring to welcome the crowd, I probably weighed around 280, 85 pounds. Dude, I am wearing an extra large T-shirt.
Where did you get
that? In. Huh?
Go ahead. Hit me.
I weighed in last weekend at 233.
There you go. 50 pounds down, man. 52 pounds down.
Yeah.
So I'm catching you. I'm 38 pounds down right now. I was 253 down to 215. So
I can tell it in your face that you slimmed down.
I lose from the face. I lose from my face, my legs, and my arms, and then the gut comes after that. Dude, where'd you get that shirt made? I dig it.
No, it's Katie, Six's wife, my grandbaby's mama made it for me.
Cool.
She made it for me.
Yeah, I gotta we gotta get some coffee mugs and stuff, man. Get some merch out there. By the way, folks, we did have plans to roll out merch. We had
a whole store launched.
Yeah, dude. I mean, everything was ready to roll. So, we'll get there. But take it home for him on this match in particular, man. What do you think about this? I mean, I think we kind of sold this as being the new face of HVW versus the established guard of HVW. Sort of, I don't want to say old new because that's been done before and it's boring and blah. But sort of established star versus the star of the future. I mean, I think we really got that in this match.
Oh yeah, I mean it's exactly what it was: the past versus the future. And Mitch Hurley just he proved to us that night why we booked him and why we want him to be a part of a big part of the HVW's future. Yep. The California dreaming, baby.
Absolutely. So we've seen movie trailers drop in the past week, several of them. There's been a lot of Marvel stuff for the Disney Plus, which I'm a huge fanboy. Can't help myself. But one of the trailers that has dropped this week is the new Godzilla versus King Kong flick. But if you don't want to waste time with that, and if you've watched the trailer, you can't wait to see the movie, I got a match for you. JD Drake versus TJ Boss. There's your segue. Do you like that? This was a monster match of epic proportions. This was two Goliaths facing off, and they destroyed Tokyo. I'm telling you right now, Tokyo crashed and burned that night because they knocked down every skyscraper within 3 feet of them. I mean, dude, this was beyond a fight.
I replaced 4 boards on the ring after that match. They broke 4 boards in the center of the ring.
It's awesome. I gave you a huge setup for this, but now I'm kind of speechless because I'm thinking back on this match and God, hard hitting does not begin to describe what we saw in this main event. This was, by the way, folks, this was our main event. It was the main event and all main events is the way I wrote it. And it's the truth because, oh my God, these guys brought it and then some. I mean, you knew these guys way back when. Talk to me about how freaking proud you must have been at Resurrected to see them after all these years bringing it back home for this company.
Well, dude, I can tell you something, man, and I'll try not to get emotional when I say this, but for many, many, many years, Drake was a part of HVW, and he caught a lot of shit for supporting HVW and being a part of it from other promoters and other people in the business, and He believed in us, and I believed in Drake. And then TJ Boss came along when we moved into the building on Asheville Highway. And TJ was like, he was the new James Drake of HVW. It's just he come in, he was just a great, humble guy. He believed in what we was doing. He wanted to be a part of it. He was driving about 2.5 hours one way to come to us every Saturday. And when I knew I wanted to book a main event for our Resurrected show, I knew I wanted it to be 2 guys from the past, and I wanted it to be one hell of a show. And, I put a couple names on paper, and that's the 2 guys I come up with. And I'm glad I did, because they brought it. They tore the house down.
Nathan giving props. TJ Boss and JD Drake could easily be on any show for WWE, AEW, Impact, whatever. Yes, absolutely, all day long.
I 100% agree.
There was nothing in that match that couldn't have been done on live TV and would have gotten ratings. I mean, and we've
all
seen
the way down to the finish.
Yes. Oh my God. And we've seen some phenomenal talents in the big companies, as we call them, the companies that are still running on TV, and God bless them, including New Japan, phenomenal talents in that country. But I would put this match up against anything I've seen in the past year. And that's the truth. During the COVID era, especially, I mean, I'd put this up against anything I've seen. I mean, go out of your way, kids. I'm telling you right now, go out of your way to see this match because it is so worth it. 100% worth it.
I agree.
Josh was the man in the stripes that night for this, and he said, I had my hands full. I don't know how you did it. One wrong move, and they would have pancaked you in the corner. You know what I mean? So,
I bet old Josh has proved over and over and over that he might be a little man, but he's the boss inside that ring.
Well, listen, we take the referee gig seriously in this company. I've sat back and watched the companies on TV, and I've sat back and watched some other companies around us. Referees are getting thrown around and smacked around and abused. Not in this company. It's not going to happen. You put your hands on a referee in this company, you're going to pay a price for it. And that's why our referees are untouchable. You don't touch them. You touch them, you won't be working for us next week. That's how this works. I mean, people can call this stuff fun and games, whatever they want to call it. We take it seriously. We pay these guys to do their job. If the men or women involved in the match, or the women, I'll have to say, if they don't like the way the guy's doing his job, you take that up with us. You want to come have a conversation with us, then do it. But the referees to be kept hands off. And we give these guys, including Josh especially, full discretion for his matches. I mean, if he needs to disqualify somebody, disqualify him. If the main event gets ruined, and I know Josh didn't want the main event to get ruined. He wanted these two guys to fight. So maybe Josh was tighter in some spaces. Maybe he was looser in some spaces because he wants to give the people what they paid to see.
Right.
But if Boss had gotten in his face, put his hands on him, intimidated him, Josh has the power to disqualify him on the spot. So,
Absolutely.
Yes, we take that seriously. And I think it's one of the things that sets us apart from everybody else for sure.
Well, it's business, brother. It's business.
Absolutely. Ron says it was a great match from start to finish.
Completely agree.
Yeah, man. It's I can't say enough good things about that main event, dude. I'm choking up. I don't know if I've ever coughed on a podcast before. I'll say I'd edit that out, but I'm not going to do it.
It's all good, brother.
So I may edit it out, which means I could just go on a rant right now. We could take it out later. Talk to me about the finish of this, because we had gotten that video from who we didn't know who it came from. And we had fans were telling us, we got messages from fans saying, is this 6? And we didn't know who it was. And then he shows up. I mean, dude, all right, look, the crew swears to us they didn't turn the lights off, but the lights got turned off somehow.
Well, look, I was standing right beside the ring, so I don't know how the lights went out.
I don't know. I mean, you can see it on camera.
Dude, all I know is that Six had been a part of HVW way back in the day. Mm-hmm. And there was always creepy stuff happen when he was around. And I don't know what it is with that dude. His presence is just, there's something weird about him. And, the same thing that night, he brought that weird presence with him again.
Yeah. When you said creepy, I think that pretty much brought it home right there. Creepy for sure. But yeah, man. And he got boss up in that, I don't know what he calls it. He calls it, what does he call that finish that he does?
I don't remember, man, but it's basically a sit down choke slam.
Yeah. He called it something.
He had TJ Boss. Six's arm was full extended.
Yeah.
And Six is probably 6'6".
Yeah.
And he had TJ Boss fully all the way.
It was Air Boss that night, like Air Jordan. He was way up in.
Yes, it was.
I mean, that ring bounced. My God in heaven, that thing bounced. That might have been what did the boards in right there. I mean, just to be honest. Let's see. Shane, I got news for you, brother. We take constructive criticism very well in this company. Shane says, I did have one criticism of the show. Tom may remember me saying this. When you live streamed it, the lights hitting the white streak in the middle of the ring was distracting. I thought the show was beautifully shot. I thought everything showed up great on camera. Shane, you might be talking about First Strike. The filming of that show is not quite on par with Resurrected. But listen, again, we take constructive criticism to heart, and we try to learn from it. So we don't take offense to anything you just said. We want the shows to look good each and every time. So, a lot of what we did that night on the 25th was just a work in progress. We were kind of feeling things out. It took us a while to get started on production because we didn't have the right cables. We were trying to set up cameras. We're running tests. I mean, the thing was thrown together so quickly when we went live, dude. I almost thought we weren't, because we started like 8:15 that night, didn't we?
Oh yeah, I mean we were definitely running late. I mean we were. I don't. Bell time was supposed to be 8. I don't think we even brought the ring announcer to the ring till about 20 after.
Yeah, I mean it's but listen, by the time we got started, it was worth it. Nate says we sabotaged it so we could get more live ticket sales. # dirt sheets. It's good stuff, man. I'll take that. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this show. It was it meant a lot to both of us, and you spoke behind the curtain to kind of rally the troops before we went live. To anybody that wanted to listen to it that was part of the roster who just wasn't already going to get down to business. For those that wanted to listen, you spoke a few things, and I think you threw it to me at one point, and I said the only reason I'm here is because I wanted to have fun. Let's just have fun, and I think that's what we did.
Yes, we did.
We had a chair set up, which is what we did at First Strike, and it will become a regular staple of our events when we do get set back up. And tell people what the significance of the empty chair is.
Well, it represents the missing man, for every fan or talent that isn't with us anymore. That was a part of HVW that has passed on or whatever. So we will always have that. But, Jeff Stone was a huge, huge, huge part of HVW and a great, great friend of mine. And Jeff was my ring announcer for many, many, many years. And that chair is mainly there for Jeff Stone.
And yeah, I like that it's taken on a different significance. I like that it can mean something different for everybody. It's just one of those things that, we don't do it to score points with anybody. We do it because it means something to us. I want to say that Nathan had this idea. Did he have the idea? Who came up with the idea of the empty chair?
I think it was Nathan, maybe.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I had the 25th of January was a little over a month after my sister had passed, and Gary knows what I went through. It's been a hard year, but that's why I needed Resurrected. I needed that night. I needed that event. I needed the family atmosphere. I needed everything to go great, and I know it did. And it meant a lot to me, and it continues to mean a lot to me. And we have said from the beginning that we didn't go into any of this stuff, half-heartedly. We went into this full throttle. And when you go into something with that much heart, you can't just wrap it up and go home with it and never come back. We're going to be back. This is a statement from High Velocity Wrestling to anyone watching or listening that may or may not care to know. Yes, we're still here. No, we're not going anywhere. We will be back. For anybody that cares to hear it, we've not gone anywhere. No one ran us out of business, despite what anyone may have said. We're still here. We shut down because we had to, not because of anybody else. So take that and stick it in your pipe and smoke on it for an hour or two. How about that? That's all the ranting I'll do.
Hey, brother, it's Tom, so many people, you wouldn't believe some of the crap that I've heard that I've not even told you, man. People,
yeah, I'm sure.
It's amazing the crap people talking. Well, I chose to cancel my show on January the 30th because, and I'm on a rant for a real quick second.
Do it.
I take care of my mother. My mother's with me full time. I can't afford to bring a crowd of people into a building and get exposed to this COVID and bring it on to my mom, because my mom would never survive that. And not only that, I just feel like I don't want to put our talent, I don't want to put you, I don't want to put our fans, I don't want to put anybody at risk of catching this or so why not? Let's just wait and see what happens. Mm-hmm. See what regulations is put in place. And then once we know, is it even worth doing it, or do we just wait till the regulations are lifted? That's when we'll make a decision on what we're going to do.
Yeah, and I think we've said this numerous times behind closed doors, and I think we said it on the pod before too. We lose nothing by staying shut down.
Nope.
Nothing. But if we start back up and something bad happens, we could lose everything. So Unfortunately for us, we are a certain size company. We're not a tremendously bankrolled organization here, folks. We don't have a massive account to back us up. There is an HVW account, and that's the truth. However, there's not a whole bunch of zeros in it. So, some other people can afford to take all kinds of risks and chances, and that's not us. I wish it was, but we have to be realistic. And no, everything Gary said is 100% true. And as I've said from day one, despite what anyone's ever said about you personally as a promoter, whatever, you've got nothing to hide at this point. And I would know, to anyone wanting to know, I would know. So shut up. And on top of that, I have nothing to hide as well. I'm an open book. Anybody wants to ask me a question, I'll answer it. Okay. Instead of being cowards and running behind our backs and talking, why don't you just bring it to me? I know why. Because from me, you'll get the truth and you'll get someone who's not looking for a fight. And that's not what you want, because you want to fight with somebody. Oh man, I'm getting pumped up. Why am I doing that?
Don't get fired up, brother. It's we've had a good time tonight. Let's don't let that mess ruin us and bring us down.
Oh man, it's never brought me down.
I hear you. I know.
Let's see. Aaron, please tell me you're still hanging out with us. Hashtag kick him in the face. Aaron, I told your sister this before, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if you're still watching or hanging out or what, your dad talks about you all the time, man. Loves the life out of you, and you better know that. And no, he didn't ask me to say that. I told your sister the same thing. Everybody listening and watching right now ought to know that life is short and life is precious. Mend your bridges, mend your fences, and rebuild the bridges, and do it now. Don't screw around, okay? You'll be sorry you did. So that rant's over as well.
I love you, son.
So, again, I cannot believe it's been a year. It's crazy. I had the most fun that night. Had a lot of fun at First Strike too. And we'll, you know what? When the anniversary comes around for that, we'll do a pod on First Strike as well.
Absolutely.
As we said before, we're not done. We're still here. We're not going to go anywhere. Nothing's going to change. HVW is going to be back better than ever. We want to come back at full strength. I don't want to come back with 10 fans. And God bless the 10 fans that would show up, because that's all we could hold. That'd be great. We want a packed house, man. We want a packed house. And we want this is what we want. Nathan says, y'all didn't talk about the best part of Resurrected, the HVW chant by the crowd at the end. Abso-freaking-lutely. That's what we want. We want that chant, man. We want the crowd to be pumped up and excited. That's what we want. There's no hidden agendas here, folks. There's no Gary's trying to get rich or Tom's trying to make a name for himself. Forget your nonsense. This is about two guys who are trying to bring pro wrestling back, and the only way we know how to do it, try to have fun doing it at the same time. That's all. It's the only agenda I got, is to have fun. I don't care who doesn't believe that.
Well, brother, listen, if we did this to make money, brother, I'd have quit a long time ago. I mean, we've made some money over the years, but I promise you, I ain't got rich off of it.
Right.
It costs as much as you make to run it.
Chris Fix says the best part was Chris Fix as always. Man,
There's
Chris,
the Greek Wolverine.
We've been putting you over for an hour and a half, Chris, and now he shows up. Good Lord. For an hour and a half, we've been putting this guy over. It's all right. You got to go back and listen now, Chris, because, you missed a whole bunch of stuff.
That's right.
So
let's tell them about this watch party we're going to try to do.
Okay, so this is where Tom has to figure out the particulars of this thing and figure out how we can do this, because turns out you can't just put a link up and have a watch party from that. We want to have an HVW watch party for Resurrected. That's the goal. And whether or not we can do that, the goal is for this coming Thursday night at 8 p.m. And we're going to try to make this thing happen. So for any of you who have not watched the entire show, that's the goal, is to make it happen. And that everybody can maybe watch along with us at the same time. Yeah, I got to work on that. So I got homework in the next day or two to try to get this thing up and running. The entire show is available on our YouTube channel. Everything we did in 2020 is available on YouTube, including the promos, backstage segments, interviews, podcasts, everything you could possibly imagine. All of our content that we started in 2019 through all of last year is on the YouTube right now. So you got to be sure you go check it out. So stay tuned to HVW's Facebook in the next day and a half, and we'll hit you with details on how we're going to do this thing Thursday night.
That's right.
So listen, you're the man running this deal. What's your final thoughts on Resurrected from last year, man? How's it feel talking about it? I mean, what's your feelings right now on all this?
Brother, it's kind of sad. I mean, not sad in a bad way. It's sad that we've missed out on what we had planned, because Resurrected was so big. I mean, it was awesome, dude. For our first show in 6 years, and to have the crowd that we had and the show that we put on, we had a little technical difficulty at the first, but, so what? The show came off. It was absolutely phenomenal. We left the lights dimmed with the fans on their feet chanting HVW. That was our goal, right?
Absolutely.
And we almost doubled the crowd at first strike. So obviously we did something right. Imagine what it would have been in December, our Christmas show.
Oh man. Yeah.
Wow.
You're making me really go into my head here and think about all this stuff, man. We had again, we had 12 months worth of events planned. We had all kinds of stuff that we were talking about doing. And the plans are still there, kids. Nothing's gone away. Just because we're not running doesn't mean we don't still have plans. We got all kinds of stuff on paper, on laptops, on spreadsheets even. I mean, you name it, we got it. So I'm looking forward to getting us back up and running. This has made me miss it even more, if I'm being honest with you.
Absolutely.
Shane's pitching a match between me and Righteous. The last thing you want to see is a match between me and Righteous, because I can promise you one thing: we will put people to sleep, and I don't want that to happen. The men and women on HVW's roster are the ones that deserve to get in the ring and show off and show what they can do. Nathan wants to be the guest referee. You're going to have to find another match to be the guest ref for, brother, because I am not interested. So, but I mean, now listen, Gary, you've lost some weight, man, and I know you still got it in you. Can we see maybe one more run when we come back eventually?
There's 5 matches I want to have before I leave this earth. There's 5 guys that I want to wrestle. So we'll see. We'll see. I can tell you this. I've been getting out there, and my trainees don't even know this, but I've been kind of getting out in the ring by myself, just running ropes and doing stuff. And I haven't taken any bumps or anything like that, but I've been out there in the ring a couple times by myself.
How's it feel?
I love it.
It never leaves you, does it?
No, man, it never leaves.
Well, there's a little foreshadowing for you folks. So maybe we'll see something soon. Your son's throwing out an idea there. So
yeah.
There you go. A1 versus Viper, right?
Yes, sir.
So listen, folks, we have gone an hour and a half here, and I'm sure everybody is going to get on with the rest of their night. I want to thank everybody for watching this show. And if you do not subscribe to the show, I'll remind you as we sign off here tonight, the HVW official podcast, Tom Clark's Main Event, and Tom Clark's 6M podcast, please and thank you, are available on Apple Pod, Google Pod, Amazon Music, Spotify, and yes, the YouTube. Go check out all of our content on YouTube right now. Well, as soon as we sign off, you can go do it then. And stay tuned to our Facebook page the next day or so. We're going to tell you how you can check out the watch party Thursday night of Resurrected 2020. That's what we want to do. So stay tuned for that. And hopefully you guys will enjoy that. We hope you've enjoyed this look back at Resurrected. And yeah, man, Gary, what do you want to leave them with tonight, man?
Man, just thank everybody for joining us. Don't give up on us. We're gonna be back. But you know me, I'm not coming back if I can't do it the right way. I won't do nothing half-ass. So, we'll do it we'll wait and do it the right way.
Absolutely.
Thank you all. Larry, it's good to see you. Aaron, I love you, buddy. What's up, Ben Wright? How's that baby? Hit me up.
All right, man. Gary, thank you, brother, as always. I had fun doing this, man. Thanks for hanging out again.
Yes, sir, my brother. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. We're going to hit the music and do this thing. And listen, again, we appreciate everybody hanging out with us, and be sure to subscribe to the show. Stay up on our social media in the next few days. And as always, thank you very much for hanging out with us. That's it for us, kids. We'll see you next time, the HVW Official Podcast.